Come with me, Jake Turner, as I travel the back roads talking with corn and soybean experts about best practices in pest control, ag issues, and how growers can get more from every acre. All you need is a minute. In this episode of The Minute, I'm in San Antonio, Texas, at the 2014 Commodity Classic. I was able to catch up with National Corn Growers Association Board President Martin Barbary the day before the show starts to talk about all the exciting developments for growers across the country.
Martin, thanks for joining us here today. As you can hear in the background, they're getting ready to set up for the Commodity Classic, and I'm glad you could carve out some time for us.
It's a wonderful time to be here.
So, the NCGA has members that could make it here, but they've also got quite a few growers that couldn't make it to the Commodity Classic. Yeah. What message do you have for them?
They're missing it, for one. Commodity Classics is just a great experience to be involved in it and be here. And, growers come and they get a great feel for what's going on in the industry. We interact with all the different commodity associations, and it's just a wonderful time to be here and learn about our industry.
And how do you communicate with your membership?
We communicate mainly through our website, ncga.com. That's we do a news of the day every day, and it's really, we get what's really important to our industry and important to our members, and that's important.
And speaking about what's important, you all have just pushed through a farm bill that you worked long and hard on. What's the message that you have for your membership about the farm bill?
The message for our membership is that we really are pleased with the way the farm bill came out of the conference committee. The agriculture risk coverage ARC program is going to be great. It's market-based. We're going to try to get out as much information as we can to our growers so they can understand the program. I think back in 2008, we had the acre program. A lot of growers just never did understand that program. And we want to make sure that growers understand it this time. I understand there's even some money in the farm bill for some grower education, which we think is tremendous.
Yeah, if you've worked long and hard for it, you might as well reap the benefits of it, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So now that you've achieved this farm bill, what are the other top priorities that you've got on your horizon?
Obviously, we've been fighting this proposed reduction in renewable volume obligation within the renewable fuel standard since last fall. Our growers turned out tremendously, making comments into the comment period that ended January 28th. Now we're kind of making a push to the White House that we feel like they should go back to the statutory levels. We think that's really important. That's probably our big issue right now. Along with that, we talked about Farm Bill, but implementation of the Farm Bill, that's huge. And always the devil's in the details.
What should membership do to get active in helping NCGA with that?
They've been active, and that's great. We're going to have to go further. Go to our website. We have ways you can keep contacting the White House. It's really important that growers speak their mind and let the White House understand why this is important to them.
Any other concerns or issues that NCGA is tackling right now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the beautiful part of this job. There's always something. But right now, the other one is getting a WRDA bill passed, a Water Resources Development Act. It's hugely critical for not only our industry, but for agriculture as a whole and the country. Our country has kind of let our infrastructure fall by the wayside, especially our river infrastructure. And as in our industry, exports are highly important to us, and we need a river system to get those exports out of the country and to their destinations.
And speaking of exports, the United States is the #1 exporter of corn. What does NCGA do to help promote international trade of corn and corn products?
Oh, absolutely. We work just lockstep with the U.S. Grains Council. We share an office in Washington, D.C. We were involved in many of their programs. We go on officer missions with them. We worked very hard to make sure that the MAP funding and the FMD funding in the Farm Bill was there and stayed solid. We're working on many of the trade pacts with different nations and Trade Promotion Authority for the President as well.
So it's a huge priority for you.
Absolutely.
Martin, you were talking about the great activity on the part of the NCGA members. How can folks get involved at the state, local, or national level?
Many of our state associations are very active. That's really the place to go is get involved with your state association. They've all got websites where you can get connected with them. Our states are always looking for volunteers to get involved in many of the different programs. They have leadership development programs. Many of the companies sponsor them. We even have a new leader program going on right now. So that's the place to get started. Many of our states have county associations that you can get involved in on the local level. And that's, from there on, the sky's the limit.
Well, you got started at the state level.
That's where I got started at the state limit, absolutely. Yeah, sure did.
And What would you say gives you the most satisfaction in your work with NCGA?
Knowing that agriculture is growing, that we're creating a solid future for the people coming back into agriculture. You know, my son's back on the farm with me in a partnership running the farm, and that nothing makes me happier than knowing I'm working with my son and he's getting to work with me.
Well, Martin, I've got to tell you, I really appreciate your time and all the answers you gave us. Thank you.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you very much.
As Martin told us, NCGA relies on an active membership. And one great way to get active is to visit their website, ncga.com, and check out the news of the day to find out what's happening across the nation. Well, that about wraps it up for this episode of The Minute. Remember to be safe out there and keep a watch for me down the road when you have a minute.